Good evening, and welcome to a special holiday weekend presentation from Plaguespeare and Company. Tonight, we are pleased to bring you Henrik Ibsen's Ghosts, adapted by Craig Johnson. Enjoy.
Stop! Not another step, you'll get everything wet.
God's blessed rain, my girl.
The devil's cursed rain, more likely.
Christ, the way you talk, Regina. Listen, I've got something to tell you.
Stop clumping around. The young master is asleep.
Asleep? It's the middle of the afternoon.
No business of yours?
Well, I was out late last night, too.
I'm shocked.
We're all weak, broken souls, my girl.
Some of us, certainly.
Making our way through the temptations of life. Still, I was on the job at 5:30 this morning.
I'll pin a medal on you. Come on, clear out. I don't want anyone to think this was a rendezvous.
A what?
Just head back to that precious job of yours.
Yeah, not so fast. A little chat first. I'm done with my work at the orphanage. Tonight, I'm on the steamer back to town.
Bon voyage.
Yeah, oh, watch your tongue. Tomorrow, the dedication with all sorts of celebrating and drinking, but no one will say Jacob Engstrand can't turn his back on temptation.
Yes, preserve your spotless reputation.
Fine folk from town poking about. Pastor Manders will give a speech.
He's expected any minute.
Yeah, you see, I'm taking good care he won't have anything to say against me.
So that's your game, is it?
What game?
What are you trying to hoodwink the pastor into this time?
Oh, why would I do that? He's always been my spiritual compass.
Good Lord.
Now, listen, though, I want to talk to you about something else.
What then?
About my going back home.
Tonight on the steamer. You told me.
I want you to come with me, Regina.
You want... What are you talking about?
I want you to come back home.
Home? With you? That'll never happen.
Oh, won't it? Well, we'll see.
Indeed we will. Me, who's been brought up by Mrs. Alving since mother died. Me, who's been treated almost like a daughter.
You're fooling yourself and you know it. A glorified housemaid with heirs.
Shut up. Why would I go back with you to a house like yours?
Why the devil not? Setting yourself up against your father, are you?
You swore I was none of yours.
Ah, may I burn in hell if
Night after
I
night,
ever...
you stumbled home, calling me a worthless mon Dieu.
Oh, I never used such a filthy word.
And I got the back of your hand more than once.
Well, maybe I was a bit, the temptations of the world are legion, my girl.
So you say.
And that was only when your mother got uppity. Had to find some way to dig my knife into her. Joanna, always acting the fine lady. Oh, let me be, you swine. I was with the Alvings at Rosenwald. They've been presented at court. She never forgot Captain Alving was made chamberlain when she was a drudge here.
Mother, you bullied her into the grave soon enough.
Ah, yes. Blame me for everything. What was that?
Boiteau.
Fancy phrases. You've had quite an education here, my dear. That'll come in handy, mark my words.
Handy for what, you scoundrel?
Stop scrapping and hear me out. I'm a lonely widower, an old father looking to make good by his only daughter.
You're a piece of work.
And I'm thinking of taking up a new line.
Again?
Listen, I made a tidy penny building this orphanage.
Good for you. So,
I thought of sinking it into something that would pay, a kind of a rooming house for seafaring folk, meals and,
God.
a high-class place, damn it, for captains and first mates, quality people.
And I would...
You'd help me, not hard work, just what you do here, a sort of show,
Show what?
Wow. We need a bit of skirt, liven things up in the evening, entertaining, dancing. Remember, they're sea folks, wayfarers tossed on the ocean of life. Now, don't be a fool and let pride stand in your way, Regina. What good will staying out here do you? All that fine education, looking after orphans, wasting your youth and your looks on those dirty brats?
No, if things work out here.
What? Out here? Use your head, girl.
I am. But how much have you put aside?
400 kroner.
Not bad.
Enough to make a start.
What's my part of it?
Ha! That's the spirit.
Enough for a decent dress or two?
Come to town and you'll have plenty of dresses.
I could get that on my own if I wanted.
You need a father's loving hand to guide you.
Don't make me laugh. Where would this place be?
Nice house in Little Harbor Street. They're not asking much. You could fix it up nice.
Mhm.
Play your cards right and you wouldn't be there long. First mate, maybe even a captain. It's your time, Regina.
I don't know. Sailors have no savoir-vivre.
What?
They aren't the sort of man one marries.
Well, then don't marry them if you can make it pay otherwise.
You
Stop being so fine and fancy. We're all making our way. That fellow, the Englishman, the one with the yacht, he paid 500 kroner and she wasn't a bit prettier.
get out.
Oh, a fist, is it? Like father, like daughter?
Stop saying that about mother. Just get along. And be quiet. Young Master Alving
Is asleep, I know. Why are you so concerned about young master? I see.
Go. Your brains turned, you old fool. No, not that way. Pastor Manders is coming.
Yeah.
There, through the kitchen.
All right, but have a chat with the Reverend. He'll tell you what a daughter owes her father, and I am your father. I can prove it by the church registry.
Ah, good afternoon, Miss Engstrand.
Oh, Pastor Manders. Good afternoon. Is the boat in already?
Obviously.
Of course.
Oh, how tiresome this rain is.
Good for the farmers, though.
Quite right. We city folk forget that.
Oh, please, let me take these.
Thank you, my dear.
I'll just put them in the hall to dry.
Ah, how pleasant to be back at Rosenwald. I trust everything is coming along well.
Yes, we've all been very busy.
Oh, and Mrs. Alving is home, I trust.
She'll be back down in a moment. She just brought some hot chocolate to the young master.
I heard that Oswald has come home.
He arrived the day before yesterday.
Thank you. Safe and sound, I trust.
Yes, but dreadfully exhausted after the journey. He came straight through from Paris. He's resting, so we've all been very quiet.
Well, we'll be like mice.
Please sit down, Pastor Manders. Make yourself comfortable.
Hmm.
There.
Oh,
Better?
thank you. Most comfortable. Why, Miss Engstrand, you've certainly filled out since I saw you last.
Have I?
You've blossomed into quite a young lady.
Mrs. Alving says that too.
Tell me, Regina, how has your father been getting along out here?
Oh, very well, I think.
Oh, I'm so pleased. He came to see me the last time he was in town.
Talking with you is such a blessing to him.
I suppose you see him every day now.
Me?
Well, since he's been here working on the new orphanage.
Oh, of course, whenever I have time.
Now, your father doesn't have a strong character, Regina. He badly needs a guiding hand, someone like you who can help him and on whose judgment he can rely. He acknowledged that freely the last time we spoke.
I dare say you're right, Pastor Manders, but I doubt Mrs. Alving could spare me, especially now with the orphanage opening. Mrs. Alving's been so good to me, I wouldn't want to appear ungrateful.
But a daughter's duty, my child. Naturally, we would first secure your mistress' consent, if a change seems best.
And I don't know whether it would be quite right at my age to keep house for an unmarried man.
Well, my dear Miss Engstrand, this is your father we're talking about.
No, if it were a good house with a real gentleman,
What do you mean?
one I could learn from, look up to, and I could become almost more of a daughter.
Ah, but my dear child.
I should very much like to live in town again. It can be so lonely out here, and you know yourself, Pastor Manders, what it is to be alone in the world. I'm very capable and a hard worker. Surely there must be some place that might be suitable. Can you think of any?
I, oh, I'm sorry. No, I can't.
Dear Pastor Manders, don't forget me in any case.
Well, of course not, Miss Engstrand.
Because perhaps I could.
Would you be so kind to let Mrs. Alving know I'm here?
Yes, sir. Of course, I'll fetch her at once. Excuse me, sir.
My dear Pastor Manders, welcome.
How do you do, Mrs. Alving? Here as promised.
Oh, the reliable Reverend.
Well, it was tricky to escape. So many board meetings and committees.
Oh, all the kinder then. But where's your luggage?
Oh, they're down at the village shop. I'll stay there tonight.
Honestly, can't I persuade you to stay here?
Oh, no. Most kind, but this will be fine. Easy to catch the steamer tomorrow.
As you wish. Though, now that we are two old people.
Oh, you will have your joke, but it's only natural you're in high spirits. The great day tomorrow, and I understand you have your son home.
Yes. Oh, I'm a very giddy woman these days. Oswald's here, 2 years since his last visit, and he's going to stay the winter this time.
Really? I'm pleased to hear it. Have the attractions of Paris and Italy lost their charm?
Oh, I don't know about that, but he's kept a corner of his heart for his mother.
Indeed. Travel and dabbling in art should never weaken the ties to family and home.
Yes. Well, naturally, I'm proud of all he's achieved and the places he's studied. But I'll be curious if you recognize him. Well, he'll be down shortly. He's just resting. Oh, but goodness, do sit down, old friend.
Only if I'm not disturbing you.
Never. On to business.
Precisely. Now, I have all the documents here, but tell me, Mrs. Alving, what are these books doing here? Perhaps Oswald brought them?
No, they're mine.
Yours?
Yes, I buy them. And then I read them.
Well, why? Do they make you feel happier or better?
Well, they certainly make me feel more, what should I say? More aware.
Aware of what?
Oh, they help me think. Oh, no, that sounds foolish. They clarify ideas and attitudes that have already crept into my head. Oh, and they open whole vistas I'd never considered. Frankly, I hadn't realized how ignorant I was. Well, one book leads to the next and so on, and it's exciting. But you know what really surprises me? Properly speaking, there's nothing at all new here. I mean, very little that most people don't already know, and many already believe. We just needed someone to say it, to put it into writing. And then we can finally sigh and admit it to ourselves.
Really?
Yes.
Well, surely not here in our world, among people like us.
Oh, yes, people like us.
You can't be serious.
Oh, I think I can if I can be giddy and serious at the same time.
Oh, this is extraordinary.
Yes, many of the books are, well, at least to me. But my eminent friend, I sense objections. Out with them.
Objections? Well, surely you don't suppose I give any credence to such publications?
Aha, you haven't actually read them. Just pounce and denounce.
Now, my clever one. I know quite a bit about these books and their influence to recognize their danger.
Though to form your own opinion, surely you must.
No, not always. There are many occasions when we rely on the guidance of others, experts and institutions who keep our cultural standards in place, secure. That, in large part, is how the social fabric is maintained.
Of course. I see what you mean.
I sound harsh. Naturally, such literature is provocative and may prove to have some value. I can't blame you for acquainting yourself with the intellectual currents you have allowed your son to wander in for so long.
But
But one must be on guard, not to be seduced by fads and shallow arguments. Of course, no one is called to account for what one reads in one's own room.
agreed.
Just think, for example, about this orphanage. You obviously built it on the highest moral principles, compassion, civic duty, principles that I pray haven't been shaken.
Of course not. But about the orphanage.
True, the orphanage. Forgive me for climbing into the pulpit. Just be discreet, Mrs. Alving. Now, the business at hand.
Ah, the deeds.
A whole lot. Everything is in order after much tortured bureaucracy, I can tell you.
Oh, thank you for that, my friend.
Well, when one has influence.
One must use it.
Yes. Well, this one is for the property containing the new buildings. And here, the charter statutes for the Captain Alving Orphanage for your signature, here and here.
Oh, bravo.
But Captain was better than Chamberlain, less ostentatious.
Oh, we wouldn't want that.
What?
An ostentatious orphanage.
Ha! This is the certificate for the endowment. The interest will in time cover the ongoing expenses of the orphanage.
You and the board shall manage that?
Of course. Oh, one other matter.
What is that?
Should the buildings be insured?
What do you mean? Of course they should.
A moment.
All my property is insured. This house, its contents, the land, crops, cattle.
Naturally, private property. I do exactly the same. But this, you see, is a public interest, a charitable concern. The orphanage is, so to speak, dedicated to a higher cause.
Oh, certainly, but
as far as I'm personally concerned, I don't have any objection to insuring ourselves against reasonable risks.
exactly what I think.
But there might be persons of sufficient influence who we can hardly ignore.
What business is it of theirs?
Rival clergy, other congregations, people who may bridle at the very success, even the generosity of the orphanage. We must begin transparently, motivated by a firm faith and unimpeachable public trust. Let others frame it as an opportune real estate shelter, a speculative business venture. You know how small towns can be.
Maybe I should lend them some books.
Oh, that would be the worst possible step. These forces can't be ignored. And then if the newspapers and magazines smell a conflict, all our energy will be thrown there and not on the work of the orphanage. I've been down this road before. Scandal isn't pleasant.
Yes. Yes, yeah, I see, though I hardly think our insurance policy rises to the level of scandal.
Well, it may be our only option. We don't have sufficient funds to cover the premiums at present anyway. Perhaps someday, when we're out of the public glare.
Well, that means if, God forbid, an accident should occur, then we are, as they say, self-insured?
Very good. In that unlikely event, would you be able to cover major damage, a catastrophe of some sort?
No, frankly, catastrophes are beyond me. Perhaps the generosity of a rival congregation.
Sure, neither of us wants that sort of charity. Then self-insured? I will leave it in God's hands.
Oh, amen. Oh, I don't know if God appreciates irony, but it's strange we should talk about this today.
That's been on my mind since the last board meeting.
Because yesterday we nearly had a fire down there.
What?
Oh, Nothing serious. Some wood scraps in the carpenter's shop caught fire.
Engstrand.
Apparently a careless smoker. Good thing his work is finished.
That poor man has so many burdens weighing on him. Heaven be praised, he's making a real effort to live a blameless life.
Well, let's hope he starts soon.
No, he told me so himself. I've been counseling him, and he's a skilled worker.
Yes, when he's sober.
A weakness afflicting so many. The pain in his leg drives him to it. But a humble heart. He confessed how grateful he was for this job so he could be near his Regina.
Really? I don't believe he sees her much.
He assured me he does. And Regina just said as much.
Oh, how odd.
Well, not really. He knows he needs a strong, steady presence to restrain him. That's what's so endearing about Jacob Engstrand. He's like a mischievous child lured into temptation and then confessing his failures. No one must forgive. Suppose, Mrs. Alving, that it was really necessary to have Regina at home with him again.
Regina.
Now you must not oppose it.
Indeed, I will. Besides, Regina is to have a position at the orphanage.
No, but after all, he is her father.
Oh, I know what sort of father he's been. No,
But now,
he will
I
never
know.
go with my consent.
Good heavens, don't speak so rashly. It's sad how you misjudge poor Engstrand.
That is not the question. I have taken Regina into my house, and in my house, she remains. Listen, don't say anything more. Here he comes.
Ta-da! Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. I thought you were alone. Well, Pastor Manders, good afternoon.
Extraordinary.
See? What do you think of him?
I? No, can it be?
Yes, Reverend, the return of the prodigal son. A portrait in oils.
Oswald is teasing you about the time you opposed him becoming a painter.
Well, we are all fallible, and many a step that at first seems hazardous. Welcome, my dear Oswald. May I still call you Oswald?
What else?
Thank you. What I was going to say, my dear Oswald, is that you must not imagine that I condemn the artist life. I assume there are many people, even in that difficult vocation, who are able to keep the soul pure.
Let us hope so.
Oh, I know one artist who has kept both the inner and outer man pure.
Mother.
And no one can deny it. And you've begun to make a name for yourself. I've often seen you mentioned in the papers, very favorably too, for sales and exhibitions. My congratulations.
Thank you. Although there has been less painting lately.
An artist needs rest sometimes, like other people.
Of course, to prepare for even greater works.
Yes. Mother, will dinner be ready soon?
In just a bit. You see, he still has a fine appetite.
And a fondness for tobacco too.
Oh, I found Father's pipe upstairs.
That's it.
What?
When you appeared in the doorway just now with that pipe in your hand, it was your father brought back to life.
Wonderful.
Nonsense. Oswald takes after me.
No, there was something in his face, how he held that pipe. It reminded me exactly of Captain Alving.
Not at all. Oswald has the noble look of a clergyman's face.
Oh, now you're just teasing.
Not me. But don't even think of lighting that. You know I don't allow smoking in here.
All right now. I just wanted to try it again. You see, I smoked it once when I was a child.
How could that be?
Well, I was quite little. I remember going upstairs to Father's room one evening. He was in high spirits.
You were so young. You can't recall anything from those days.
No, I remember distinctly. He sat me down on his knee. He took his pipe out of his mouth and said, "Suck, my boy, puff away and have a good smoke." So I sucked on the pipe as hard as I could. I didn't choke, but I remember getting dizzy and starting to sweat, and that made him laugh even more.
You only dreamt it.
No, Mother, I didn't dream it. Oh, because I remember now, you came in and carried me off to the nursery, and then I was sick, and I remember you crying. Did Father often play jokes like that?
In his younger days, he was full of mischief.
And yet he accomplished so much. I mean, so much that was good and useful, I mean, even though he died quite young.
You've inherited the name of a man of industry and integrity. May his memory be the lodestar to your own endeavors.
It certainly ought to be.
In any event, it was good of you to come home for the day. That will honor him.
I could do no less to honor my father.
And the best part is that I'm going to have you with me for so long.
Yes, I understand you're spending the winter.
I'm here for an indefinite time. And it's so good to be home.
Yes, isn't it?
You went out into the world very young, my dear Oswald.
Maybe too young.
Not a bit. Best thing for an active boy, especially an only child. It's a shame when they're smothered by their parents and get spoiled.
That is debatable, Mrs. Alving. A child's home is and will always must be his proper place.
There. I agree entirely with Professor Manders.
Take the case of your own son. We can talk about it in front of him. What's been the consequence? He's 26, 27 years old, and he's never had the opportunity to experience a real home.
Oh, excuse me, Reverend. You're quite wrong there.
Indeed. Life at boarding school and then artistic circles abroad?
Yes.
Chiefly among young artists.
Mostly.
And I imagine people of that sort, as a rule, lack the means to raise a family and keep a proper home.
Some of them cannot afford to marry. That's true.
Exactly my point.
But they still have a home all the same. I mean, a good many of them have very proper and comfortable homes too.
By a home, I mean a family, where a man lives with his wife and children.
Exactly, or with his children and their mother.
Excuse me, you're speaking of irregular unions.
Would you rather he disowned them?
They are a sin.
They are people, and I have never seen anything sinful or even irregular about them.
Are you claiming it's a laudable lifestyle? A man or woman with any sort of upbringing to live that way openly, unmarried?
Well, we'd better not get into any other lifestyles.
So what about their children?
What about them? Listen, a poor artist and a young woman, they might not be able to afford a marriage license even if they wanted one. What can they do?
What can they do? They can keep away from each other. That's what they can do.
That argument won't get very far with young people in love.
No, to flaunt such hedonism without regard for their children's well-being. They'll probably end up on the streets.
Well, then perhaps they'll be taken in by a good orphanage.
Oswald.
Was I not right to be concerned about your son? Where open immorality becomes the norm, where one might say it's even honored?
Excuse me, sir. Do you know where I have seen open immorality?
No, thank heavens I don't.
Then I'll tell you. It happens when some of our model husbands and fathers come down to have a look around and sample the delights of the great evil city.
Do you expect me to believe that respectable people from this country...
But have you never, when these same respectable men come home, heard them pontificate on the gross indecencies abroad?
Of course.
Well, you can take their word on it. Some of them are experts. Those unused to freedom freely abuse it. Oh, to think that our beautiful life should be so contaminated.
Oswald, that's enough. You know this isn't good for you.
You're right. It isn't good for me. Excuse me, now that the rain's let up, I'm going to step outside for some fresh air. Forgive me, Pastor Manders, if I offended you. We see things differently, obviously.
Oh, my poor boy.
Yes, it's very sad. The prodigal son indeed. And what do you say to all this?
You won't like it. I'd say it differently, but Oswald is right in every word he said.
Right. To hold such opinions?
In my loneliness, I have come to exactly the same opinions, but I never dared to talk about them. Now there's no need. My son shall speak for me.
I am deeply troubled. My faith compels me to say a few words to you in earnest, not as your business advisor, not as your husband's old friend or anything else. It is your pastor speaking to you.
And what has my pastor to say to me?
First, I must stir your memory. The timing is appropriate. Tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of your husband's death. Tomorrow, the memorial to him will be dedicated. Tomorrow, I shall speak publicly. But today, I speak to you alone.
Yes.
Have you forgotten that after barely a year of married life, you stood at the edge of an abyss? You had forsaken your home, deserted your husband, and refused to return to him despite his earnest entreaties.
Have you forgotten how desperately unhappy I was?
Demanding happiness as an earthly entitlement is to be possessed by pride and indulgence. Contentment comes from serving others, living honorably, and fulfilling our vows. For you to support the man you had married and to whom you were joined by a sacred trust.
You knew all too well the life my husband was leading and what he was guilty of.
I only knew the rumors. I should be the last person to condone such conduct if idle gossip can be trusted. But for better or for worse, Mrs. Alving, it was your duty to humbly bear the cross that a higher power had laid upon you. Instead, you abandoned the troubled soul whose stumbling footsteps you had pledged to support. You imperiled your own good name and reputation and came very near to imperiling the reputation of others.
Others? One other, you mean?
To seek refuge with me. Utter recklessness.
With our pastor, with our intimate friend.
Thank God I had the strength to lead you to the path of righteousness.
Once the moment had passed.
We are all frail. It was not easy, I know. But you must admit it sowed the seeds of a rich blessing for the rest of your husband's life. Did not your husband turn from those destructive paths? Did he not, after that, live a life of love and respect with you? Did he not become a benefactor of the community? And did he not raise you up so that you became a partner in all his undertakings, an equal partner too? Yes, that praise I freely give you. But now I come to your other false step.
What is that?
Just as you once forsook your duty as a wife, so too have you forsaken your duty as a mother. All your life you have been ruled by a corrupting spirit of willfulness. Your impulses led you towards what is undisciplined and selfish. Anything that was irksome you threw aside as if it was a burden that you were free to discard at your whim. It did not please you to be a wife, so you tried to leave your husband. Your duties as a mother grew tiresome, so you sent your child to grow among strangers.
Yes, that is true. I did.
And now you have become a stranger to him.
No, I am not.
You are. You must be. And what sort of son have you raised? Now think carefully. You sinned grievously in your husband's case. You acknowledge as much by building this monument to him. Confess, too, how you abandoned your son. There may still be time to save him from a life of wickedness. Turn and reclaim what must still be saved. Mrs. Alving, the burden of guilt must be too great to bear.
You are right. The burden has been heavy. Tomorrow, Pastor Manders, you will speak in memory of my husband. I shall not. But now permit me to say a few things to you.
By all means. I don't doubt your path has been difficult.
My path.
Yes?
Oh, my dear friend. Oh, this isn't easy. You see, in all that you have said about Captain Alving and our life together, there was nothing you knew firsthand. From the moment you led me back to my responsibilities, you never set foot in our house. You, who had been our dear companion before that.
Well, you and Alving moved from town shortly after that.
And you never came once here during his life. Why? Only the business with the orphanage compelled you to visit.
Mrs. Alving, if that is a reproach, I can only beg you to consider.
Oh, your calling, your rising position. Oh, I understand. I was a woman who had run away from her husband. One can never be too careful with such people.
Helen, if I was lacking in charity.
Let's forget that. What I meant to say is this. When you reproach my conduct, you have little to go on but rumor and speculation.
Maybe.
But I swore to myself that one day you should know the truth. You alone.
The truth.
The truth is that my husband died just as great a degenerate as he had been his whole life.
What are you saying?
After 18 years of married life, he was as profligate as he was when you married us.
You talk of his youthful indiscretions, his excesses, as a degenerate life?
Well, that's what his doctor called it.
I don't understand.
Oh, really?
Mrs. Alving, are you saying that your marriage, all those years of wedded life, was nothing but a facade?
Facade papering over something much worse.
But how could such a thing be kept a secret?
By fighting day and night to keep it secret. After Oswald was born, things became a little better, but that didn't last long. And then I had a double battle to fight with all my strength so that no one should know what sort of husband I had and what sort of father my child had. You know how charming Alving could be. People believed nothing but good of him. His private actions never dimmed his shining reputation. But at last, my dear Manders, at last something happened more loathsome than everything else.
More.
I knew only too well that he indulged in when he traveled to the great evil city. But when it started happening within our walls.
Here, in this house.
In here, in the dining room. I was here. The door was ajar. And the maid was setting the table.
Well?
I heard my husband come in. He said something in a low voice. And then I heard, it rings in my ears still. So heartbreaking, so humiliating. I heard my own servant say, "Let me go, sir, such impropriety."
Now, perhaps it was only a moment of levity, an unseemly levity.
Oh, it was more than levity, my dear pastor. My husband had his way with the girl while I sat in here and did nothing. And then I went into dinner.
In this house.
I have endured much in this house. Keep him occupied in the evening and throughout the night. I became his companion. Secret drinking bouts upstairs night after night he drank, and I endured his lewd jokes and the obscene stories of his exploits, acquiesced to his desires, and dragged him to bed when he could no longer stand.
How could you endure all this?
For my son! For Oswald's sake! Oh God, when the final humiliation came, when he forced himself on our maid, a moment of levity bore consequences. Then I swore to myself, this must stop. I took over reins of the house, for now I had a weapon against him. He didn't dare speak. It was then that I sent Oswald away. He was nearly 7 and beginning to notice things and ask questions the way children do. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't let my child be poisoned by breathing the same air as that vile monster. To save my child, I sent him away. No one knows what that cost me.
How did you manage to live through this?
Work.
Work.
It saved me. The additions to the estate, the improvements for the tenant farmers, all the innovations that my husband was praised for. Do you suppose he troubled himself with any of that? He who spent the day on the sofa reading old circulars. It was I who brought him out when he was lucid, and it was I who lured him upstairs when he resumed his excesses or simply collapsed in a drunken heap.
Well, then how can you raise a memorial to such a man?
Ah, there you see the power of a guilty conscience.
A guilty conscience? What do you mean?
My great fear was that someday the whispers would be believed, the humiliation of our life exposed. That's why the goodness of the orphanage must exist, to bury the dead and seal the tomb forever.
And so it shall.
And one more reason. I could not let my son inherit anything from his father.
You mean it was Captain Alving's money?
Precisely. Sums of money used to construct and fund the orphanage add up to the exact amount. Oh, I have reckoned it carefully. That made young Lieutenant Alving in his day such a catch.
We hold on to so much.
It was the sum with which he bought me. None of it will pass to Oswald. My son shall inherit everything from me. Oh, my dear boy, back already.
Yes, the rain. It raineth every day.
Yes. Oswald, I wanted to
Oh,
apologize.
no need, Pastor Manders. Case closed.
Very well. It's so good to have you back.
Thank you.
Dinner is served, madam.
Excellent.
Oh, I'm famished.
Red or white wine, sir?
Why not both?
How shall I ever face that crowd tomorrow?
You'll find the strength. I did.
Obviously, we must not raise any suspicions.
Long last, this ugly comedy will come to an end. After tomorrow, the dead shall be put to rest. Only the living will remain. A mother and her son.
Oswald? What are you doing? Are you mad?
What? Come here.
Oh no.
Mrs. Alving,
Dear God, no.
Oh, don't run away.
Ghost. Girl in the dining room. Consequences of levity.
are you saying Regina? Is she?
Not a word. Come.
End of Act 1. Act 2, later after dinner.
That was a magnificent dinner, Mother.
Yes, such bounty.
Oh, thank you. Oh, are you going out again, Oswald?
Yes, the rain has stopped. I want to explore the new buildings. Through the mist I go.
Can I get you anything else, Mrs. Alving?
Oh, no, Regina. Yes, actually, if you could help with the garlands for tomorrow.
Of course, they're all spread out in the laundry.
Thank you, dear.
No one can hear.
No. What are we to do?
Upon my word, I don't know.
I'm certain nothing serious has happened yet.
Yet, indeed.
Oh, you're right. She must leave. Well, even if it was foolish jest of Oswald's.
Absolutely.
Where? We can't simply turn her out.
Where? Home to her father, of course.
To whom did you say?
Yes, that's right. But are you certain? It all happened so long ago.
Regina's mother, Joanna, confessed to me when her condition became apparent. And my husband didn't deny it. He seemed almost pleased, smug. A triumph over me, I suppose. There was nothing to do but hush it up.
Naturally.
Joanna received a generous sum to hold her tongue. Oh, she was resourceful. As soon as she got to town, she renewed an acquaintance with Jacob Engstrand and gave him a hint, I dare say, how much money she had, along with a pitiful tale about an Englishman on a yacht. And voila, she and Engstrand were quickly wed. Well, you married them yourself.
I recall Engstrand coming to arrange the wedding and accusing himself bitterly for his transgression.
Taking the blame, protecting Joanna's reputation. Alving's too, I suppose.
And lining his own pockets. Disgusting. Marrying a fallen woman for money.
Well, what about me? I married a fallen man.
What do you mean?
Do you suppose my husband was any purer when I went with him to the altar than Joanna was when Engstrand married her?
Well, the two cases are completely different.
Oh, you're right. One was a man and the other was a woman. And yes, there was a great difference in the price. 500 kroner versus a sizable fortune.
How can you compare the situations? Presumably you consulted your own heart.
I thought you knew where my heart lay at that time.
If I had, I would never have been a daily guest in your house.
Oh. Well, this much is certain. I didn't consult my heart very deeply at all.
Still, you consulted those nearest to you, your mother, your aunts?
Oh, yes, they settled the whole affair. It seems incredible now, but they tallied it up. Penniless pastor or his friend, the dashing captain, and showed me that it would be sheer folly to reject Alving's offer. If only my mother could look down and see where her fine prospect led.
No one can be held responsible. Anyway, this much is clear. Your marriage was made in complete conformity with proper morality.
Complete conformity? I often think that is at the bottom of all the misery in the world.
Now, Mrs. Alving.
I can no longer accept such blind obedience. I cannot. I must uncover my own path to freedom.
What do you mean?
I should never have concealed what sort of life my husband led, but I didn't have the courage to do otherwise. And not because of Oswald, because I was such a coward.
Coward?
If people had known, they would have said, poor man, no wonder he strays. After all, his wife ran away from him.
But you returned.
Yes, I obeyed like a coward. If I were a real person, even now, I would say to Oswald, listen, my child, your father was unfaithful, a degenerate, and I would tell him everything I told you from beginning to end.
You shock me.
I shocked myself. Oh, gosh. I mean, that's how much of a coward I am.
You call it cowardice to honor your vows and spare your child, a child who is commanded to love and honor his father and mother?
And how should Oswald love and honor Captain Alving?
You are a mother. Isn't there a voice in your heart that longs to protect your son's ideals?
What about the truth?
And what about ideals?
Oh, ideals. Ideals. If only I weren't such a coward.
Now, do not despise ideals. They have a way of exacting retribution in the end. Take Oswald. He hasn't many ideals, but this much I have seen. He reveres his father.
Yes, he does.
And this image of his father was carefully nurtured in everything you told your son when he was away at school and then in Paris.
Yes, I was hostage to duty and obligation, so I lied in letter after letter. Your father is so admired. Oh, such accomplishments. What a coward and a liar I became.
You gave him hope. You created a happy illusion and kept from a child things that would only cause pain.
Then when should a child grow up? When should they know the truth? These lies have created a vast gulf between us. I don't know how to bridge that. I simply don't.
You've already begun. This orphanage closes that chapter forever. We cannot change the past. We must move forward.
True. So, to the present. The situation with Regina must stop. He cannot get that poor girl into trouble.
No, that would be unthinkable.
You know, if he meant it seriously and it would make them both happy.
Mrs. Alving!
Oh, if I were not such a miserable coward, I would say to them, here is the whole truth. Now decide how you want to live your lives. Only let there be no deceit about it.
Heaven forgive you. Are you actually suggesting something so abominable, so unheard of?
Unheard of? Did you say? Oh, tell me honestly, Pastor Manders, don't you suppose there are couples, especially out here in the country, that are as nearly related as they are?
I am sure I don't know what you mean.
Oh, indeed you do.
Now, possibly you're thinking of cases where, yes, it's only too true that family histories are not always as pure as they ought to be, unfortunately. And the sort of thing you hint at, well, for one thing, it's impossible to tell with any certainty. But in a respectable, educated family, to allow your own child...
But I'm not allowing it. I wouldn't allow it for the world.
Because you're a coward, as you put it. But suppose you were not. Great God in heaven, such a revolting union.
Well, we are all descended from a union of that kind. So we're taught. And who is responsible for that state of affairs, Pastor?
I will not debate this. You are hardly in the proper state of mind. To suggest that is cowardice.
Oh, I'll tell you what I mean. I am frightened and timid because I am haunted by ghosts that never leave me.
By what?
Ghosts. When I heard Regina and Oswald in there, it was just like ghosts appearing before my eyes. I'm half inclined to think we are all ghosts. It's not only what we have inherited from our fathers and mothers that lives on in us, but all sorts of dead ideas and all kinds of old dead beliefs. They may not be alive, but they are all the same, haunting us, shackling us, and we can never be rid of them. Whenever I pick up a newspaper or a book, I see ghosts creeping between the lines. There must be ghosts all over the world, whispering in our ears, hovering in our shadows, all so terrified of the light.
So here we have the result of your study. These subversive, free-thinking books.
Oh, there you are wrong, my friend. You're the one who awakened my spirit, made me begin to think again.
I?
Yes. By forcing me to submit to my duty, by praising as right and proper what my whole soul revolted against, as our souls must revolt against anything truly abominable. That was what led me to examine the seams of your teachings. I only wanted to undo a single knot, but when I worked it loose, the whole fabric began to unravel, and I saw that nothing held it together.
Is that all I accomplished in my life's hardest struggle?
Call it rather your saddest defeat.
It was my greatest victory, Helen. Victory over myself.
At what price? You never married. A victorious wrong was perpetrated.
Wrong. Was it wrong to entreat you to go back to your husband when you came to me that night crying, "Here I am, take me"?
That night.
That night.
Oh, so long ago. One forgets.
I do not. I am the same as I have always been.
Yes. Your belief is certain. And that may be the saddest thing of all. But what's done is done, as you say. No more ancient history. You are buried up to your clerical collar in committees, positions, and institutions. And here I am battling ghosts within and around me.
Well, at least my position can put things right on one front. After all I've heard, I cannot, in good conscience, allow that poor defenseless girl to remain here.
Yes, it would be best to get her settled.
For the time being, she must go home to her father. I mean,
Pardon, ma'am.
That's all right. Come in, Engstrand. Do you wish to speak to me?
It was the pastor I wanted to work with.
oh, do you? Well, what is it?
Just this, Pastor Manders. We've all been paid. Many thanks to you, Mrs. Alving. So now that everything's finished, I thought it would be fitting for those of us who had worked together all this time to say a few prayers before we left.
Prayers? Down at the orphanage?
Yes, sir. You know, a sort of a blessing ceremony, though if that isn't proper.
Oh, certainly, certainly. But
I've made a practice of saying a few prayers there myself each evening.
Have you?
Yes, ma'am. Now and then. Just as a little edification, so to speak. But I'm only a common workman and I lack the proper gift. So I thought as Pastor Manders happened to be here.
look here, Engstrand. First of all, I must ask you a question. Are you in a proper frame of mind for such a thing? Is your conscience free and clear?
Oh, heaven have mercy on me, a sinner. My conscience isn't worth speaking about.
It is exactly what we must speak about. What do you say?
My conscience, well, it's uneasy most times.
Ah, you admit that at all events. Now, will you tell me the truth? What is your relationship to Regina?
Manders.
Leave this to me.
To Regina? Good Lord, there's nothing wrong with Regina, is there?
Well, let us hope not. What I want to know is, what is your relationship to her? You call yourself her father, but are you? Truly?
Well, you know, sir, what happened between me and my poor Joanna.
No more lies. Your late wife made a full confession to Mrs. Alving.
What? Do you mean, did she really?
So you see, it has all come out, Engstrand.
Lord, she gave me her promise and swore on the Bible.
On the Bible.
Well, she promised, and so sincerely.
And all these years you have hidden the truth from me, who had such complete and absolute trust in you.
I'm sorry to say I have, sir.
Did I deserve this, Engstrand? Haven't I always been ready to help you, spiritually and materially, as much as I could? Answer me, haven't I?
Indeed, there's many a time I would have been very badly off without you, sir.
And this is how you repay me, lying for years, allowing me to make false entries in the church registry and on legal documents. Your conduct is inexcusable, Engstrand, and from this day forward, I will wash my hands of you. Have you nothing to say for yourself, man?
I did it for her.
What?
For Joanna. How could I let the poor girl go and expose herself to public shame? Well, suppose, sir, that your reverence was in the same predicament as young Joanna. I only mean, suppose there was something your reverence was ashamed of in the eyes of the world. We ought not judge a poor woman so harshly.
I'm not doing that at all. It's you I'm angry with.
But if I may, your reverence, aren't we bound to raise up the fallen?
Of course.
And isn't it our duty to keep our word?
Certainly, but...
Well, after Joanna had her misfortune on the yacht with this Englishman.
Englishman? Yacht?
You remember?
Ah, yes.
Well, sir, then she came to town. Well, she couldn't bring shame on the Alvings here at Rosenwald. Well, poor creature. She had refused me once or twice before, only had eyes for handsome young men, and I had this bad leg.
I know.
I don't wish to claim credit, your reverence, only that she came and confided in me, told me everything in tears and sobs. Well, sir, it just broke my heart to hear it.
Did it indeed.
So I says to her, that Englishman is roaming the high seas he is, and you, Joanna, I says to her, you've committed a sin and are a fallen woman. And here stands Jacob Engstrand on two strong legs. Well, in a manner of speaking.
Yes, go on.
Well, sir, that was how I raised her up. Raised her up and made her my lawful wife so that no one could ever reproach her.
Well, that was all charitably done. Nevertheless, I cannot justify your accepting money for this.
Money? Not a krona.
But...
yes, well, wait a bit. I remember now. Joanna did have a little money. You are quite right. But I wouldn't have anything to do with it. Fie, I said, that is mammon, the wages of sin. As for this filthy gold or notes or whatever it was, we'll throw it back in the Englishman's face. But he had already gone and disappeared over the horizon, your reverence.
Was that truly how it all happened, Engstrand?
Upon my honor, sir. So Joanna and I decided that the money should go towards the child's upbringing, and that's what became of it. I can give a faithful account for every krona.
This certainly puts everything in a new light.
That's how it was, your reverence. And I make bold to say that I have been a good father to Regina, as far as was in my power, sinner that I am.
Yes, I see.
And I also make bold to say that I brought up the child tenderly and made a loving husband to my poor Joanna, just as the good book says. I never occurred to me to go to your reverence to claim credit or boast because I had done is one good thing in the world. No, when Jacob Engstrand does a thing, he holds his tongue. Unfortunately, it doesn't often happen. I know that only too well. Because, as I said just now, and I say again, conscience can be very hard on us.
Give me your hand, Jacob Engstrand.
Oh, sir.
Nonsense. Nonsense. There.
And may I now go down on bended knee and beg your reverence pardon?
No. I should be begging your pardon.
Oh, no, sir. No.
Yes, and I do it with all my heart. Of course, I wish you had trusted me with the whole truth. I mean, your whole story. But let's put that to rest. Forgive me for having misjudged you. And if I can do anything to prove my goodwill.
Do you mean it, sir?
It would give me the greatest pleasure.
Well, since you say so, there is a great opportunity at hand. My dream is to use the honest money I put away here to establish a sort of sailor's home in town.
You?
Yes, a kind of sanctuary, so to speak. There are so many temptations lying in wait for young sailors as they roam about on shore. My idea is that this house should be a refuge with a sort of father figure to look after them. I haven't much, I know, but with God's blessing, a bit more.
Of course. Now, we must discuss this sometime. It interests me greatly. But for now, go back to the orphanage and put everything in order. Set up the chairs and light a candle. You shall have your prayer service. For now, my dear Engstrand, you are in the proper frame of mind.
I believe I am, sir. Truly. Goodbye then, Mrs. Alving, and thank you for all your kindness, especially for taking such care of my Regina. Poor Joanna's child. Amazing thing. But she seems to have become part of my life and holds me by the heartstrings. That's how I feel, truly.
Well then, what do you say to that, Mrs. Alving? That was quite an explanation he gave us.
It certainly was.
How careful we must be in condemning our fellow man. But at the same time, a relief to discover one can be quite mistaken.
So we'll let the story of the Englishman and the yacht remain?
What? Oh, yes, of course. That's best. I mean, for Joanna's memory, don't you think?
What I think is that you are and always will be a great big baby.
What, me?
And I think I should very much like to give you an enormous hug.
What? Good heavens.
Oh, don't worry. You needn't be frightened.
Oh, I'd forgotten what extravagant ways you have. But now, for now, I must be off to the orphanage. I'll return soon.
Oh, Oswald, I thought you had gone for a walk.
Oh, I did. And now I'm back, enjoying my mother's warm and cozy home. Where's the pastor?
Down at the orphanage. Prayer service for the workmen.
Oh, good Lord.
Absinthe. Careful. It's so strong.
It's a good protective against the damp. And what else can one do? I can't work.
Why not?
Well, for one thing, this everlasting gray weather. Not a ray of sunshine. Not to be able to work, it's... Tell me, Mother, are you really so very happy to have me here?
More than anything. How can you say that?
Oh, no, I don't mean to be unkind. Only you've managed quite well without me all these years.
Managed. Yes, I've I've managed. That's quite true.
Well, and naturally, I had to be here. Father's memorial to honor him.
To honor him.
Mother, I have something to tell you.
Yes.
I can't keep it to myself any longer.
What is it?
I couldn't bring myself to write it, and I hoped that coming home
Yes?
yesterday and today I tried to convince myself that it would somehow go away, disappear, but it hasn't.
Oswald, tell me.
I'm trying, Mother, I am. You know how tired I was from the journey?
Oh, of course.
But that isn't the reason. This isn't ordinary fatigue.
Oswald, are you ill?
Mother, something bad is alive inside me.
Look at me. No, this isn't true.
It's the spirit quietly starting to devour me.
How are you?
I don't think that I'll ever actually be able to paint again. To ever be my old self again.
Listen to me. Oh my God, you're just overworked and exhausted. Quiet and rest. Everything will be all right. I'm sure of it.
I thought so too at first, but I can't lie to myself.
Well, tell me everything. When did you first notice this?
Just after I'd been home the last time. I returned to Paris and began to feel violent pains in my head, mostly at the back. It was as if a tight iron vice or clenched fist was pressing from my neck upwards. At first, I thought it was the headaches that I used to have as a child.
Of course.
But this was different. I couldn't focus on my work. I would stare at a blank canvas as if all my faculties had abandoned me. I felt paralyzed. I couldn't collect my thoughts or see anything clearly. My head was just swimming. Everything went round and round. It was horrible. I went to the doctor and he told me the truth.
And what was that?
He was one of the best doctors in Paris. He examined me all over and then began asking a lot of intimate questions that seemed absolutely irrelevant, insulting. I mean, I have never done anything reckless or dangerous in that way. I mean, you must believe me. I've never done those things.
I believe you.
And yet, it's infected me, this hideous thing. So at last, the doctor said that if that is the case, then you have carried the canker of this disease inside you from birth. I think the phrase he used was worm-eaten.
What did he mean by that?
That's just what's so grotesque. He just tilted his head to the side and almost smiled. The sins of the father shall be visited on the children.
The sins of the father.
I wanted to hit him in the face.
The sins of the father.
Can you imagine? Of course, I told him that it was impossible. My father is an honorable man, a chamberlain, a married man. And do you think that changed his mind? No. He just looked at me with this condescending smirk. It was only when I brought him your letters and translated every passage that referred to father.
And then he...
Yes. And then, of course, he had to admit that he must have been wrong. And so I learned the truth. The horrible truth. I should never have had anything to do with that whole circle of artists and writers. One of them, or at least one of them, maybe more, was a filthy degenerate. exactly as Pastor Manders said. Maybe something unclean, a spoon, a pipe, just pass the infection along to me.
No, no, don't believe that.
But there's no other explanation. I can't help thinking that in the end, it was all my own fault. My whole life ruined by carelessness and pride. All I wanted to accomplish. Not to dare think of it anymore. Not be able to think of it. Only I could live my life again and undo what I have done. If it had been something that I couldn't help, even something that I was born with, that would have been almost more tolerable, but instead to have stupidly thrown away my happiness, my health, my whole life.
No, my darling boy, I'm sure things are not as desperate as you think.
Mother, you don't know. You live in a safe, sheltered world, and now I bring this disease into your house, into your life. I was almost glad that you had sent me away for so many years because it meant that you probably didn't care very much for me.
You're my son. I love you. You're all I care about in the world.
Yes, of course. I see that now that I'm here. I only meant that it would hurt you less, bringing the shame upon you.
Oswald, we have grown apart, it's true. But now you're home, as you should be. I shall care for you, and there is so much I need to.
Thank you, Mother. But not now. I'm tired. I can't bear think of it for long.
I understand.
Anyway, now you know. Now the truth is out. Mother, let's have something to drink.
To really think that.
Oh, please don't tell me that I shouldn't. Be nice. I need something to drown these obsessive thoughts.
Oh.
This incessant rain, day after day. No hope of sunshine. All the times I've been home, I don't think I ever remember seeing the sun.
Oswald, you're not thinking of leaving.
I'm not thinking about anything. I can't think about anything. I take good care not to.
Did you ring, madam?
Yes, Regina, go to the cellar and bring up a bottle of champagne.
Yes, madam.
Thank you. I knew my mother wouldn't let her son go thirsty.
My dear boy, how could I deny you anything?
Is that true? Do you mean that?
Mean what?
That you couldn't deny me anything?
Oswald?
No, never mind. Tell me, what do you think of Regina?
Regina?
Yes. Isn't she wonderful? I mean, I hadn't noticed before.
You don't really know her?
Well, no, but...
Regina didn't have a happy home, I'm afraid. I should have taken her under my care earlier.
She's so full of life.
I'm fond of her, of course, and I'm responsible for her. I wouldn't want anything in the world to happen to her.
You don't know this, but I've done Regina a wrong.
You?
Yes. Quite unintentionally. The last time I was here, Regina would ask me about Paris. And I told her this and that about life abroad. And I remember once saying, "Would you ever like to go there?" She blushed and said, "Yes, very much." Well, we'll have to make that happen someday.
You said that.
Naturally, I forgot about it. She was only a girl and it was just a passing comment, but the day before yesterday, I told her I was home for an indefinite time. She looked at me so curiously and asked, "But then what is to become of my trip to Paris?"
Her trip.
And then I saw her for the first time, a handsome, spirited woman. And I realized that maybe my salvation lay in her.
Your salvation.
Regina radiates the joy of life.
The joy of life.
Here's the champagne, madam.
Oh, but you must bring another glass, Regina.
Another glass?
Yes, for yourself.
Madam.
Bring the glass, Regina.
Yes, madam.
Oh, do you see the way she walks? Such confidence and vitality.
Listen to me, Oswald. This cannot happen.
What are you talking about? Of course it can, Mother. Regina is an honorable person. Why are you looking at me like that?
Oswald.
Ah, very good. Sit down, Regina.
Please sit down, Regina. What were you saying, Oswald, about the joy of life?
Yes. The joy of life. Our duty to recognize every day as a gift to be celebrated. And we go forth with energy and hope to create a better world. I'm not explaining it very well.
No, I understand. Go on.
All I mean is that here, too often, people are brought up to believe life is some sort of burden and that we must toil as a punishment for, well, for what? It's all a wretched struggle, and the sooner we escape, the better.
A veil of tears. Yes, we do our best to make it so.
But not everyone believes that. Many people have shed those doctrines long ago. Isn't just being alive reason enough for joy? That's what I've seen in Paris. Artists there have discovered warmth and creativity and vitality in everyday life. And surely you've noticed that in my paintings, just light and sunshine and people's faces radiating happiness.
Yes. Yes, I've seen that. And now you're home. You can bring that beauty here.
No, Mother.
No. Why not?
Because I no longer have that strength. These feelings within me, feelings of joy, beauty, of life, are being pulled, slowly, inexorably pulled by some force, a dark weight into the cold, wet earth. Mother, I am just now realizing that I must break away fully, or my life will be the same, mere existence, not a life.
I see. I see.
Perhaps my only hope is escape. Regina, you remember I once promised you that you would see Paris one day.
I do.
Do you still desire that?
Oh, yes, Mr. Alving, with all my soul.
No, Mother, you must not forbid it.
Now I see where it went wrong.
What?
Now I understand. And now I can speak.
What are you talking about?
Oh, finally, my son, you must know the whole truth. And so shall you, Regina.
Aye, madam.
Mother,
Well, 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 my friends, what a splendid time we had down there.
did you?
Yes, and Mrs. Alving, my mind is clear. Engstrand must have some support for his sailor's home, and Regina must help him.
No, thank you, Pastor.
What?
Regina wishes to go away with me, Pastor Manders, to Paris.
Go away? With you?
I do.
Mrs. Alving, what have you to say to this?
Only that they have known too many lies, that we have lived too many lies, and we must start by speaking the truth. Now.
No, you must not. No.
And will. We must beat back this darkness.
Mother, what do you mean?
Oswald.
Listen, someone's shouting outside.
What's happening? Where's that light coming from?
Oh my God. The orphanage, it's burning.
Oh God, on fire, how can that be?
Impossible. I was just there a minute ago.
Father's orphanage, no!
Oh, great heavens, the whole building is in flames. Oh, Manders.
Dear God, have mercy on us.
Oh, it is judgment on me and on this house.
On all of us for what we have done and what we have left undone.
End of Act 2. Act 3, later that night.
All burned. Burned to the ground.
It's still smoldering in the basement.
Oswald hasn't come back.
No, Mrs. Alving is looking for him. He's still trying to do what he can.
Nothing can be saved.
It's a horrible tragedy, isn't it, sir?
Let's not speak of it. My head is spinning.
How did it start?
How should I know? Isn't it enough that your father, Engstrand,
What's he done?
nothing. It doesn't matter.
Pastor Manders,
Are you still following me?
God forgive me, what a dreadful thing.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Regina, my child, sad to say, but our little prayer service was the cause of it all. I'll never forgive myself if Pastor Manders is to blame.
Really, Engstrand, I assure you.
There was no one carrying a lit candle but you, sir.
So you say, but I distinctly remember blowing it out when we concluded.
I saw your lordship leave it next to all those wood shavings.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been so careless.
Well, it didn't seem like you, sir, but you looked distracted, as if your mind was on other things.
And you saw this.
With my own two eyes. I only wish I would have said something, but who would have thought it was so dangerous? Good Lord, what a tragedy. And it's not insured yet, is it, sir?
No, not yet.
And that it should happen at a place of charity that was to benefit the whole community. The newspapers will demand a reckoning.
It's just what I was thinking. The attacks, insinuations, the scandals inevitable.
I can't get Oswald away from the fire.
It's of no use.
Well, I suppose you won't need to make that speech of yours after all, Pastor Manders.
Oh, I'd give anything.
That's just as well. No good would ever have come from that orphanage.
What?
Do you believe that?
Don't you?
Well, nevertheless, it's a devastating loss.
We will discuss it only as a business matter. I suppose you'll be leaving by the next boat.
Yes, I expect so. There's much to be done.
And please take all the paperwork. I prefer never to hear another word about the orphanage.
Mrs. Alving.
Please. Later on, I'll send you a power of attorney to deal with the assets you think best.
As you wish. The buildings are a complete loss, and I'm afraid the original intent of the endowment will need to be altered.
I'll take your recommendation.
The property could be made over to the local parish. It's not without value, and I can work with them on some proposal or another. The endowment could benefit some worthy cause in town.
Perhaps you'll think of my sailor's home, Pastor Manders?
Yes, yes, that's one idea. But we must consider the whole affair carefully, and I don't know how much longer I may be involved. Public opinion may force me to withdraw altogether. That will depend on the results of the investigation
Investigation.
into the cause of the fire. One can never predict the outcome in these matters.
Maybe one can, if the guilty party steps forward.
What are you saying?
Engstrand,
It's possible, probable even, that some senseless fool who's careless, maybe a little too much to drink and with his pipe, purely by accident.
But you just said.
Someone whose failings are well known, but who has shouldered the blame for another's sins in the past, well, such a fellow would be the most likely person, wouldn't he?
most likely person in what we must all agree is a sad and tragic accident.
An accident that could never be absolutely proven. Am I right?
No. Never absolutely proven. An accident.
Oh, Oswald, you're back. Thank goodness.
Fire's out. Burned to the ground.
Yes.
Well, we're all exhausted, I'm sure. And I'm afraid the boat will be leaving soon. Engstrand, if you're going, this might be a good time to discuss your sailor's home and see if we can come to some arrangement.
That would suit me, Pastor Manders. You've been a good girl, Regina. Very good. And if you should ever need anything from your old father, you know where to find me. Little Harbor Street. Thank you, ma'am. My home for poor seafaring men shall be called Captain Alving's home. I pray it may be a worthy memorial to him. God rest his soul.
Yes, yes. Come along, my dear Engstrand.
Thank you, Pastor Manders. Until we meet again.
Yes. Goodbye. Goodbye.
What home is he talking about?
Some sort of boarding house he and now Pastor Manders want to start.
It will burn up like this one.
Why do you say that?
Everything will burn up. Soon there'll be nothing left to remind people of Father. God, I'm burning up too.
Oh, you shouldn't have stayed there so long, my boy. You're exhausted.
You're right.
Oh, you're feverish.
Thank you, Mother.
Are you tired? Why don't you go to bed?
I won't sleep. I never sleep. I only pretend to. That will come soon enough.
You really are ill. Oh, Oswald.
If it weren't for this deadly fear.
I'll be here with you.
Thank you. And Regina must stay too. Regina shall always be near. You'll lend a helping hand, won't you?
Of course, but I don't understand.
A helping hand?
When the time comes.
But you'll always have your mother.
I doubt you'll be able to give me the kind of help. Really, it ought to be you. You should call me Oswald from now on, Regina.
I don't think Mrs. Alving would like that.
It will not be long before you have the right to say it. Sit down, Regina. And now, my poor, tormented boy, may I lift some of this burden from your mind?
You, Mother?
This self-reproach about your condition.
You think you can do that?
Yes, now I can. When you spoke of the joy of life earlier, everything you said shed a ray of life on my entire life.
I don't understand.
You should have known your father when he was young. Oh, he was filled with the joy of life.
Yes, I always imagined.
Oh, and it was like sunshine. Just to look at him. I'd almost forgotten. Everyone felt it.
Only I had really known him.
And then this boy, filled with the joy of life, for he was like a boy then, was forced to live in a backward town that had no joy to offer him, to offer anyone. He had only an official post with its dull routine, nothing that captured his whole mind and heart and soul, no freedom, no companion willing to appreciate what the joy of life meant. Just rules, restrictions, duties, and slowly his spirit withered until idleness and dissipation became his only companions.
Mother,
And so the inevitable happened.
you mean that father...
Yes, he became infected with something ugly and diseased. And I was no help. For I brought no life, no joy into our home, just fear.
Mother,
Had only been taught to obey, to be proper and correct without knowing what that really meant. And in the end, without knowing it, I'm afraid I helped make your father's home unbearable.
I never saw any of this.
Oh, of course. It was my duty to protect you.
And you kept it to yourself this whole time?
No, I see clearly. Your father was lost, poisoned, before you were even born. And that infection,
That means the diagnosis was true.
along with the other truth that haunted me day and night, that Regina has much right to belong in this house as my own son.
Regina.
Yes, from the days Joanna walked these floors.
Then
Do you understand now?
Oswald, Mr. Alving, and I are... And my mother...
Your mother was a good woman in many ways, Regina.
She was one of those, all the same. So no Englishman, no yacht. Well, then, if you please, madam, may I have permission to leave at once?
Do you really wish to, Regina?
Yes, I certainly do wish to.
Of course. You should do what you feel is right.
But this is your home too.
Thank you. I suppose I may say Oswald now, but it's not at all the way I hoped.
Regina, I haven't been honest with
No,
you.
you certainly haven't. Kept here as a kind of servant or charity case, or really the only orphan that place will ever have. If I had known at all who I am. No. Now that there can be never be anything between us, well, sorry, I can't stay out here wearing myself out looking after invalids.
Not even for someone so close to you.
No. Forgive me, but every bone in my body wants to escape this place forever.
I understand.
And anyway, a poor girl must make the best of her chances while she can. Otherwise, she'll end up, well, who knows where. And I have the joy of life in me, too.
I'm glad.
Don't throw yourself away, Regina.
Or shut the door and hide forever? I've seen what that kind of imprisonment does to a soul. I'm sorry, I know you meant well, but what will be, will be. If Oswald takes after his father, I shouldn't be surprised if I take after my mother.
Regina, you mustn't.
May I ask, madam, does Pastor Manders know about this?
He knows everything.
Of course. Well then, I better try and catch that steamer. The pastor's such a kind man, and it seems I have just as much right to that money as that disgusting carpenter has.
I am sorry it ended like this, Regina.
You should have raised me like a gentleman's daughter, you know. It would have been more honest, at least. What does it matter? I'll drink champagne again someday.
If you ever need a home, Regina, please come to me.
No, thank you, Mrs. Alving. Pastor Manders has taken an interest in me. And if things don't work out there, I know one place where I do belong. Captain Alving's home. Au revoir.
She's gone.
Yes,
I think it's all wrong.
it is. I'm so afraid the shock has been too much for you.
About Regina and father, you'll find I'm both stronger and weaker than you ever imagined.
What?
In the end, it doesn't change anything.
Does it change anything? Knowing this about your father?
I suppose I should feel some anger or pity, just as I would for anyone, but...
No more? For your own father?
Oh, father. Father. Obviously, I never knew my father or anything about him, except that once he made me sick.
Surely a child should feel some respect for his father.
When a child has nothing to respect his father for, has never known him, do you honestly cling to that old superstition, you who are so broad-minded?
You really think it's only a superstition?
Surely you see that. It's one of those antiquated beliefs that we hand down generation after generation without thinking, and they seep into the floorboards and float out into the world.
Ghosts.
Yes, you could call them that. Ghosts.
But then you don't love me either.
I know you.
Is that all?
Mother, I know how much you love me, and that you did your best in an ungodly situation. And now I must beg you to help me now that I'm ill.
Oh, of course. Of course. I will. Oh, Oswald, terrible as it is, this illness has brought you back and has given us another chance. I will be so helpful and patient.
And cheerful.
Yes, that too. There, some of the darkness has gone away.
Yes, but who will take away my fear?
Fear?
Regina would have done it.
I don't understand. What fear are you talking about, and what has Regina to do with it?
It must be very late.
It's nearly morning. Oh, dawn is glowing already over the mountains, and the sky is clear. A little while you might be able to see the sun.
The sun. After all, there may be many things yet for me to live for and find joy in.
Of course.
Even if I'm not able to work.
Oh, you'll work again. So soon, my boy. These dark, painful thoughts won't haunt you forever.
We'll let all the ghosts go free. Mother, we must have a little talk.
Certainly.
The sun is rising,
Soon.
and as it rises, we'll talk, and this fear will float away. Mother, you said that there was nothing in the world you wouldn't do for me.
Yes,
And you always keep your word, don't you, Mother?
of course, my dear boy.
Very well, then. You're strong, I know, but I want you to listen calmly when I explain this. Promise me that, Mother.
I promise.
This fatigue and not being able to work, they're symptoms, not the real illness.
What is the real illness?
The real illness, which is my inheritance, lies here.
No.
Yes, it's found its home, waiting like a demon, and at any moment, any time, it could break out.
Oh, how horrible.
That's the condition I'm in.
It isn't true. It can't be true.
It is. I had one attack in Paris, and after it passed, I learned the state that I had been in. And then this dreadful, haunting feeling spread all over me.
If that was the fear.
Yes, this ever-present terror, and if it had just been an ordinary disease that would have killed me, of course, though I do want to live as long as possible.
Yes, you must, Oswald.
But it's so disgusting, so humiliating to have this poison lurking inside me, ready to curl around me at any moment and turn me into a helpless creature, demented, needing to be fed, needing to be, oh, I can't think of it.
You'll never have to think about it. Oswald, do you hear me? I will take care of you, I promise.
No, that's exactly what I don't want you to promise. I won't have that be your life, and I won't have it be mine. Losing my mind, utterly incapacitated with no hope of recovery. What sort of life is that? And what if you died before me? Because it doesn't end quickly. It takes its time. The doctor said he called it a softening of the brain. Almost sounds nice. Makes me think of cherry-colored velvet curtains. Something comforting to stroke.
Oswald!
Now Regina is gone. Oh, if I only had her, she would help me, I know.
What do you mean?
When I recovered from the attack in Paris, the doctor told me when it happens again, and it will happen again, the next time, there will be no hope.
Oh, how could he be so heartless?
So honest. I told him I had arrangements to make, and so I have.
What is that?
Morphine pills. It's for the headaches. I saved them all up.
Oswald, no!
No, not yet, Mother.
No, I can't endure this.
You must. If Regina was here, I would have simply told her calmly and simply to grant me this last wish and give me all the pills. She would have done it. I am certain.
Never. No one would do such a thing.
Once she had seen me lying there in that condition, like an infant, past hope, past help, with no chance of recovering.
Never in the world would Regina have done it.
Yes, Regina's no coward. She is bold and free. Very soon she would have tired after looking after an invalid, and not just for herself, out of compassion.
Compassion. Then thank heavens Regina is not here.
So now you must do it. Who better than you?
Your mother.
Just for that reason.
Who gave you life.
I never asked for your life. What kind of life have you given me? What kind of life has my father given me? Sickness and rot and decay. I don't want it. Take it back.
No! Oh, no. Oswald, my child.
You had a mother's heart. How could you let me suffer this unspeakable agony?
Just take my hand.
Do you promise?
I promise. If it becomes necessary. But it never will. It never will, my son.
Oh, let us hope so. Thank you.
Oh, how do you feel now?
Calm.
Glad. Oh, this must have been a terrifying nightmare. But it's only a nightmare, a dream, I'm sure of it. Now shall rest here in your home with your mother. You shall have no cares, no worries, just like when you were a little child. There. Nightmare is over. See how it passed? I knew it would. Oh, and look, Oswald. Look what a lovely day it will be. Finally, brilliant sunshine. Now you'll be able to see your home. Oh, how the light dazzles on the water and the mountains covered with snow. Oh, it's dazzling.
Mother, give me the sun.
What did you say?
The sun. Give me the sun.
Oswald. What's the matter? Oswald? What is it, Oswald? What is the matter? Oswald. Look at me. Don't you know me?
Sun, mother. Give me the sun.
No. This can't happen. I can't bear it. Never. Where is it? Where is it? Oh my God. Ah. Oh. Oh, yes. No. No.
The sun. The sun.
A little curtain call. Thanks all for watching. Appreciate it.